first page? Okay. Do you see that? I'm looking at the top block of text on this email.
There we go. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
So as I said, that's an email from Mr. Doherty to you, copying Mr. Hamers and Miss Helen. You see that?
I do.
Okay, and then this is what the text says. It says, thanks for the summary in the chat earlier. To confirm our conversation, no action required on Project Athena at this time. As a FIU team, we are still determining with Mike B. Is that, who does that refer to?
That's Mike Bowman.
Okay, and GSET, what's that refer to, please?
Is our global senior executive team.
Okay, so as an FIU team, we are still determining with Mike Bowman and GSET the appropriate way to deal with initiatives like Athena. As for the Vancouver meeting, I will speak with Amy and we will determine attendance going forward. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay, if we could mark that please as the next exhibit.
466.
Yes, exhibit 466.
If we could bring up document TD 27. And sorry, we did see earlier in that email, and I can bring it back up, Ms. Gabriele, perhaps I'll just ask you the question first. It began with reference to no action required on Project Athena at this time. And I just to confirm, that was your understanding of sort of the state of affairs following your May meeting with senior leadership, and this point now in June, was that no action was being taken at that point with respect to any of the information that had been received or that was continuing to come in. Is that your understanding?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So we're looking now at TD document 27. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay, and this is a July 11th, 2019 email from Mr. Doherty to Ms. Helen. And you'll see the text says, hi, Amy, given all our recent discussions on Collector, Interact, Athena, I will be asking Anna to stand down from attending the next session in Vancouver later this month. We've yet to identify who ultimately should own this in GAML. What does that refer to?
Global anti-money laundering.
Okay, and as we are not doing anything with the data outputs. And again, would that be consistent with your understanding that at this point nothing is being done with the data outputs?
Nothing further than what I had originally done in April.
Okay, and if we could mark that please as the next exhibit.
467.
467.
Oh, and actually just no, that is right. Sorry, I was wondering if I'd already marked that. Thank you. You subsequently heard back directly, Ms. Gabriele, instructions to the effect of standing down, and I'd like to show you something in that regard. If you could bring up, please, TD document 216. These appear to be sort of messenger, whether it's Skype or otherwise, between you and Mr. Doherty. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay. And Mr. Doherty says here, hi, we are standing down on Athena for now and won't be attending the July meeting in person. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay, and if we could please mark that as the next exhibit.
468.
Exhibit 468.
Were you told why TD was standing down on Project Athena and that you were not to attend the upcoming meeting in July at this point?
No, my understanding was that meetings were still taking place with the executive team, but nothing in great detail.
Was it explained to you why you shouldn't attend the upcoming meeting in July 24th, even just for informational purposes or to continue to receive the minutes or the intelligence that Project Athena was generating?
That was not discussed with me, no.
Okay, and I take it you weren't privy to in fairness to you, Ms. Gabriele, I appreciate you're not an executive of TD, and I take it you weren't privy to decisions that would have been taken necessarily at that level. Is that fair?
That's correct.
Okay. And so that July 24th meeting, I take it you didn't attend that meeting either in person or otherwise.
Correct.
And to your knowledge, did anyone else from TD attend that meeting?
Not to my knowledge. I'm not sure.
Okay, and if we could please bring up Canada document 23, and again, this is one of the documents, Mr. Commissioner, that is subject to the direction made this morning. So I ask that it not be live streamed or posted.
Well,
And if we could go to please page 4 and 5 of this. And Miss Gabriele, I take it you saw this document in connection with the interview that you had with Commission Counsel in October, but did you receive this document? I think we had described earlier that those who attended meetings got the minutes, but those who did not may not have. Did you receive these minutes at the time?
I'm not sure if I received the minutes or not. Sorry, I'm not sure.
Okay. If we could scroll, but you have seen these before in connection with the interview that you had with Commission Counsel previously. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And if we could scroll down, please, and zoom in on the bottom portion of this document. Now, Gabriele, there's a heading here called BCLC Statistics Update. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay. And there's a reference here to a presentation that's made at this time based on the same BC Lottery Corporation charts that we'd seen earlier. And there's a listing of, well, first the banks in sort of descending order in terms of the dollar value of the bank drafts that were being flagged through Project Athena. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay, and we just agree with you that TD is at the top of that list.
Yes, they are.
Okay, and then there's a series of bullet points below there that break down by dollar value and provide some information sort of breaking down the number of money that's involved and has been identified through this. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay, and you'll agree with me that the indication here is that in 2018, there were roughly 3,000 drafts and $150 roughly million in value from all of the various financial institutions that were flagged as part of this project. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, and then if we go down to the next point, there's a breakdown in terms of where these bank drafts are originating, and the indication is that 98% of them are coming from the top 6 financial institutions. And it gives a dollar value for that as well of just below, well, just above $147 million. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay, and then there's a sort of, scroll down please to the next line. You'll see that there's a point there that it says the top 2 financial institutions. So based on what we saw before, that would be TD and then the next bank together represent 66% of the dollar volume and about 63% of the count volume. So based on sort of my calculations, that would be roughly $100 million between the top 2 banks, of which TD Bank was the first. And you said you don't recall whether or not you received these minutes, Ms. Gabriele, but do you recall being given information or these statistics being made aware to you or present in any of the analysis that you conducted?
These specific statistics with the overall total value, no. But again, the information that we had analyzed was from March 2018 to January 2019. And yes, that's where I did identify a high volume of TD Bank drafts.
And it's fair to say that if you had attended this meeting. If the decision hadn't been made or that you were directed to stand down and not attend, then you would have been present to receive this information. That's a fair conclusion?
That's a fair statement.
Okay. If we could please mark this as an exhibit and again, not public at this point, please.
All right, well, sorry, where are we at, Madam Registrar?
469, Mr.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
So, and we can bring this document down, please, Madam Registrar. After you received the message that you were to stand down on Project Athena, did you continue to receive further bank intelligence information from the project?
I think the last intelligence I received was for February, March, and April 2019.
Okay, so up to when you ceased attending the meetings, the intelligence flow also ceased in and around the same time. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And I understand that you left the SIU team to take on new responsibilities within TD at the end of October, very beginning of November, right? October 31st, November 1st, is that right? 2019?
Correct. October 31st, 2019 was my last day, and November 1st, 2019, I managed 2 new teams.
Okay. And if you look at, please look at TD 346, please. Okay, and I'm showing you, this is a 2-page document. It's an email. If we go to page 2, please. There's an email from an AML manager in the SIU by the name of Dermot Hickey, dated November 28th to you, copying Mr. Cowley. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
And she's asking whether or not from your SIU days, whether or not you received any guidance, and asking for all things Project Athena related to that time. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay, and if we scroll up, please, to this page, thank you. So you're now responding back to Ms. Hickey, copying Mr. Cowley and Mr. Doherty, and you're providing an update. Is that right?
Yes, it's Mr. Hickey.
Okay, my apologies.
That's okay.
And you're describing, you say, "Hi, Dermot, at one of my team meetings earlier this year, I had given the team a high-level summary of Project Athena and what is," I think you mean to say what was in
What it was.
What it was? Okay, thank you. Anticipation that it would be a new workflow project that the team would be working on. And that was your expectation when you first became involved in Project Athena, that it would become a new workflow project that your team would be working on?
Correct.
Okay. And you say the one thing that I did do was, and you mentioned, I believe, the name of the investigator in your team that conducted that preliminary analysis. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. To review all the customers that Melanie Patton had provided for me for each month from 2018 to January 2019 to determine the following. And I appreciate the next portion is redacted, but you agree with me that that's a summary of sort of all of the metrics that review identified, and you've addressed a number of those already. Is that right?
Correct.
And then you sort of give a conclusion based on the data, and then you indicate what the total dollar value was. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And if we scroll up, please, you'll see that Mr. Cowley, his response to Mr. Hickey, November 28th, 2019, is that not much was done then, with a series of ellipses after that. Do you see that?